Namaste. Dear participants of national level online short-term course in life skills for women in COVID-19. This is Dr. Tejaswini B. Ikundimat, Special Officer, Karnataka State Higher Education Council, Bengaluru. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the IQAC and Women's Cell of Government First Grade College, Dharwad, for organizing this national level FDP for women. Now I'm going to give you brief information about some top government jobs available for women in India. The basic question is why more women are entering job market. The reasons are many. Growing education standards and decreasing male versus female career gap have enabled women candidates to give tough competition to males in every field. There is no sector left where the glass of ceiling has never been broken by the female candidates. This situation has much improved from the time when a girl child was considered as a burden, and now female candidates in comparison to males are considered to be more sincere, hardworking and have focused workforce. Presence of female candidates has not just increased in the private sector, but success in government selection process has become quite extensive. Why government jobs are perfect fit for women in India? The first thing is job security. Job security is the main advantage of government jobs, and in private there is no job security, whereas there is a very little chance that any government employee will lose his or her job. Pay structure. The next significant factor is the pay structure, as it is a vital factor for job seekers. After the introduction of the 7th Pay Commission pay scale, the pay which a government employee gets is more than a private sector employee. The third point is better work-life balance. At a recent survey, 70% of female candidates in India said that work-life balance was key to their definition of success in their career, while only 40% of men felt that. The study also revealed that the difficulty of balancing life and work is a key reason why women in India leave their jobs. A government job that offers fixed working hours and better leave policy helps to maintain better work-life balance. Special provisions for women. There are special provisions, and they are: the government regularly encourages women employment in the public sector. With the same motive, there is fee exemption and age relaxation in various government exams. SSC is one of them. Maternity leave. Most of the government offices grant at least 6 months paid maternity leave to women. Railways even grant leave up to 2 years in continuation with maternity leave in case of a mother applies for, while private sector jobs mostly offer only 3 months paid leave, which could be less dependent on the health condition of the newborn. Adoptive mothers are eligible for 180 days of maternity leave under the central government. Equal growth opportunity. Apart from the above benefits, women in the government sector also get access to handsome salaries and equal growth opportunities. Unlike the private sector, public sector jobs base promotion on long-term benefits. Therefore, women, depending on their performance, get equal opportunity to groom and grow in the career as men. The last but not the least one is work stress. As we have seen above, the government sector has standard working hours. So these working hours will give less work stress. The government jobs provide the best frame to complete the work in time and in the best manner that is not possible in the private sector. Now let us have a brief look at the percentage of women serving in some top government services. In Indian Forest Service, the share of women is 4%. In Indian Foreign Service, it is 8%. In Indian Administrative Service, it is 17%. In Indian Statistical Service, it is 24%. And in Indian Economic Service, it is 30%. In armed police, 2.8% of women are serving. In Indian railways, the share of women is 7%. In Indian police, that is, it is 7.3%. In public sector banks, 24%. Translator, 29%. And stenographer, it is 31%. But it is still very less. One of the most important services is UPSC Civil Services. UPSC Civil Services is considered as one of the esteemed services of the country. Every year, lakhs of aspirants appear for the UPSC Civil Services exam, and out of which only a few hundred qualify to be part of these esteemed services. Civil Services exam is conducted by the Union Public Service Commission every year to recruit officers for the various posts listed under the civil services. Till now, UPSC have not given any reservations for women except it waives application fees for women, SC, ST and physically handicapped persons. And UPSC Civil Services exam pattern is given in this slide, and it has three stages. First one is preliminary examination, and this examination will be held in the month of June. Here you have to appear for two examinations. They are General Studies Paper 1 for 200 marks and General Studies Paper 2 for 200 marks. If you qualify in this preliminary examination, then you can appear for mains examination, and it will be held usually in the month of October or November. And there you have to write 4 general studies papers containing 250 marks each, and you have to select one optional subject, and for it you have to write 2 papers, and there will be one compulsory essay writing paper, and there are 2 compulsory papers. One is compulsory English and one is compulsory in Indian language. And finally, if you qualify in mains exam, you will be called for interview, and interview will be held in the month of March or April. Then let us have a look into types of civil services. Three forms or groups of jobs are available through the Civil Service Review. Under these three broad categories are a range of prestigious and sought after services. The rank list of civil service comes out with the results of the exams. The top three All India services are Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, and Indian Foreign Service. Group A Civil Services, Indian P&T Accounts and Finance Service, Indian Audit and Account Service, Indian Revenue Service, Indian Defence Account Service, Indian Revenue Service or IRS, Indian Ordnance Factories Service, Indian Postal Service, Indian Civil Account Service, Indian Railway Traffic Service, Indian Railway Account Service, Indian Railway Personnel Service, Indian Railway Protection Force, Indian Defence Estates Force, Indian Information Service, Indian Trade Service, Group A, Indian Corporate Law Service. And Group B Civil Services contains Armed Forces Headquarters Civil Service, Delhi, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu, and Dadra and Nagar Haveli Civil Service. And please note that these are all union territories. And the next one is Delhi, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu, and Dadra and Nagar Haveli Police Service, Pondicherry Civil Service, Pondicherry Police Service. Now I'm going to give you brief information about job opportunities available for women in defense forces. Indian Army. Indian Army is the crown jewel of the Indian Armed Forces. Therefore, it does not come as a surprise that it has been on the radar of several women candidates willing to serve their country. Since 1992, the Indian Army has been admitting women candidates in the officer cadre, and I will give you information about them. First one is SSCW Non-Tech, that is Short Service Commission for Women Non-Technical. The Indian Army recruits 12 female candidates as officers through open recruitment test, which is held twice in a year by the Union Public Service Commission. unmarried women candidates wanting to join the Indian Army through the scheme need to fall in the age group of 19 to 25 years. In addition to this, they also need to fulfill the academic requirement of graduation from a recognized university. The next one is SSCW NCC. Female NCC cadets can also join the Indian Army under the special entry scheme of SSCW NCC. The Indian Army recruits 8 unmarried female NCC cadets who have completed 2 years service in NCC senior division and hold minimum B grade in C certificate exam. As far as age is concerned, the cadets have to be within 19 to 25 years. Academically, candidates need to hold graduation degree with minimum aggregate of 50% marks. The vacancy for through this entry scheme is notified by the Directorate General Recruiting or AG branch in the month of June or December. SSCW Judge Advocate General. Women officers are also inducted into the Indian Army for handling the legal formalities under the Judge Advocate General branch. Popularly known as JAG entry scheme, the Indian Army recruits 8 female candidates under this scheme every year. The eligibility requirement for SSCW JAG is age between 21 to 27 years and a valid LLB or law graduate degree with 55% marks. In addition to this, the candidate should be registered with Bar Council of India or any state. The recruitment is done through the Additional Directorate General Recruiting in the month of April or October. SSCW Technical Entry Scheme. The Short Service Commission Women also has a technical entry scheme under which engineering students are inducted in the Indian Army. Female engineering students falling in the age group of 20 to 27 years are eligible for entry under this scheme. Academic requirements include graduate degree in any discipline of engineering. Every year, the Directorate General Recruiting or AG branch hires 40 women engineers under this scheme during the months of June or July or December or January. Military Nursing Service. The Military Nursing Service is another important way in which women candidates can join the Indian Army and serve the country. Under this, female candidates between 21 to 35 years can apply for nursing jobs with the Indian Army. Academically, the candidates need to complete MSc Nursing or PBBSc Nursing or BSc Nursing. In addition to this, the candidates also have to be registered nurse and midwives from a state nursing council. After the completion of short service commission, the MNS women officers can also get a permanent commission subject to interview and availability of vacancies in the cadre. Indian Navy. Female aspirants who have passion and courage to serve their country by joining the Indian Navy have good opportunities available in their kitty. Currently, the Indian Navy inducts female candidates under the Short Service Commission entry scheme. However, upon completion of the SSC tenure, the women naval officers can also be given permanent commission depending upon the number of vacancies, merit and other personal performance. Women can have lucrative career options with the naval wing of Indian Armed Forces under different categories. ATC, Air Traffic Controller, is a very important position within the Indian Navy. Female candidates falling within the age group of 19 and half to 25 years are eligible to seek employment for this. For academic requirements, the candidate must have completed their graduation or post-graduation in science stream, that is physics or maths or electronics. Observer. For the post of observer, the female candidates need to fall within the age group of 19 to 23 years. As far as academic requirements are concerned, a graduate degree in any discipline with minimum 55% marks and maths and physics at 10+2 level is compulsory. Law. To handle the legal processes concerning the Indian Navy, female candidates can join the law wing of the service. Any female law graduate within the age group of 22 to 27 years is eligible to apply for this post. The law degree must be completed with aggregate of 55 marks. Logistics. Women candidates having valid engineering graduate degree, BTech or BE in architecture, computer engineering, IT, civil, electrical, marine and mechanical can apply for this. Alternatively, candidates who have completed a PG diploma program in material management are also eligible. The age requirement is 19 and a half to 25 years as per notified in the advertisement. Education. The education branch of the Indian Navy also hires female candidates. For this role, women candidates have to be within the age group of 21 to 25 years to fulfill the mandatory eligibility criteria. Academically, the candidate needs to complete BTech or BE in computer science, electrical, IT, electronics, mechanical or MSc in maths, physics, computer applications and others with minimum of 50% marks. Naval architecture. The Indian Navy also accepts women engineers who have the passion to create engineering marvels as well as for the upkeep of the already commissioned machinery. To join the Naval Architecture Wing of the Indian Navy, candidates need to fall within the age group of 21 to 25 years. Along with this, they also need to clear the BTech or BE in Naval Architecture, Mechanical, Civil, Aeronautical, Metallurgical, Aerospace Engineering with minimum 60% aggregate marks. Women engineers are hired through SSC or University entry scheme in the Indian Navy. Indian Air Force. The Indian Air Force offers employment opportunities to women candidates to serve the country by joining the Indian Air Force. Currently, the entry of female candidates is open to all the three branches, that is flying branch, technical branch and ground duty branch. Flying branch. All the air warriors of Indian Air Force are recruited through the AFCAT. Women candidates falling in the age group of 19 to 23 years can apply for flying branch under the three categories of fighters, transporters and helicopters. Until June 2016, female candidates were provided the opportunity to fly transport aircrafts or helicopters, but not the fighter aircrafts. However, in landmark step, the Indian Air Force had inducted its batch of women pilots into its fighter squadron in 2019. The minimum height to apply to this branch is 162.5 centimeters. As far as academic qualification are concerned, women candidates need to have bachelor's degree in any discipline with aggregate of 60% marks and have passed maths and physics at 10 plus 2 level or BE or BTech degree from recognized university with aggregate of minimum of 60% marks. Technical branch. In order to provide technical support to the Indian Air Force, expert and qualified engineers are hired by the force through the AFCAT examination. Under the technical branch, the IAF hires female candidates as well in two types of technical services as mentioned below. One is mechanical. For the mechanical engineering wing, an aeronautical engineer with specialization in mechanical domain is hired by the Indian Air Force. The eligibility requirement for a candidate willing to join mechanical wing is candidate must have cleared the 4-year BTech program from a recognized university with minimum aggregate 60% marks and qualification in at least 8 subjects out of 18 as notified in AFCAT notification. Mechanical aeronautical engineers who have cleared section A and B exam of associate membership of Institution of Engineers or Aeronautical Society of India in regular courses are also eligible to apply for the job with IAF. Electronics. Women candidates can also join the Indian Air Force as electronic engineer if they qualify the following conditions. Candidates must have cleared the 4-year BTech program from a recognized university with minimum aggregate 60% marks and qualification in at least 8 subjects out of 18 as notified in AFCAT notification. Mechanical aeronautical engineers who have cleared section A and B exam of associate membership of Institution of Engineers or Aeronautical Society of India or graduate membership exam of the Institute of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers in regular course are also eligible to apply for the job in Indian Air Force. The height of the women applying of this to this branch should be at least 152 centimeters. The weight of the candidate should be correlated. Ground duty. Indian Air Force also requires several people to support their daily operations on the ground. To cater to this requirement, the force has opened up job opportunities in the ground duty section to women candidates as well. Currently, women candidates can seek employment with the Indian Air Force at an administration and logistics wing, account section, education and meteorology wing. The height of the women applying to the ground duty branch should be at least 152 centimeters. The weight of the candidate should be correlated. The general description and educational eligibility required for these posts are mentioned below. Administrative wing. Like any other professional organization, the Indian Air Force also has a dedicated administration wing that looks after the smooth functioning of day-to-day affairs. Women can join the administration wing of the IAF through the AFCAT if they qualify the following academic criteria. For graduates, bachelor's degree in any discipline with aggregate of 60% marks. For postgraduates, degree or diploma with aggregate 60% marks. Accounts wing. Women candidates can also join the accounts division in the Indian Air Force through AFCAT if they hold bachelor's degree in commerce stream with aggregate of 60% minimum marks or degree or diploma in commerce, MCOM, CA or ICWE with aggregate 50% marks. Logistics wing. Just like administration, the logistics section also looks after the arrangement of logistical and infrastructural facilities for the Indian Air Force. Women can join the administration wing of the IAF through AFCAT if they qualify the following academic criteria. Bachelor's degree in any discipline with aggregate 60% marks or degree or diploma with aggregate 60% marks. Education branch. Women wanting to join the education wing of the Indian Air Force through AFCAT should possess a postgraduate degree in any discipline with aggregate of 50% minimum marks. Meteorology branch. Candidates including women are hired to the meteorology branch of the Indian Air Force through SSB and not AFCAT. For this, the Air Force Selection Board shortlists candidates and calls them for the SSB interviews. Age limit. Candidates need to fall within the age bracket of 25 to 27 years. Academic qualification. To join the meteorology branches, candidates need to hold postgraduate degree in any science stream or maths or statistics or geography or CS or EVS or physics or geophysics, etc. with minimum 50% aggregate and have 55% marks both in maths and physics at graduation level. Now, let me give information about job opportunities at police department. Why we need more women in police force is the basic question. The role of women in the police has been steadily increasing. The Prevention of Children from Sexual Offences POSCO Act and major criminal laws now require every case of sexual assault to be recorded and investigated by a female police officer. The next point is the arrest of a woman and searching a woman must be done by a woman only. Even juvenile delinquents are believed to be best handled by the women police officers as they are more compassionate and communicative with children. Further, the police are required to deal with varied situations of public order involving women, ranging from outrage generated from incidents of brutal sexual assault on women to the terror unleashed by women insurgents. Public agitations by female groups are not very uncommon. The NCRB data reveals that though the average representation of women in the police force has increased from 2% in 2001 to 7% in 2016, it is still far from satisfactory to effectively deal with women related crimes. According to the NCRB data, about 11% of total IPC crimes were committed against women and only 5% of total arrested persons were women in 2016. Therefore, even if we go by simple mathematics without having a minimum female representation of about 16% in the police, not only will the mandate of various laws remain uncompiled, but dealing with day-to-day public order will also fall short of public expectations. Many countries like South Africa, USA, Australia and Canada have much better representation of women in their police forces. The CRPF, that is Central Reserve Police Force, has recently deployed a women's battalion in Basta to deal with the Maoists. The Chhattisgarh Armed Force has also for the first time inducted women to deal with law and order situations in the state. Karnataka has reserved 25% of posts in the state police department for women to ensure gender equality recently, and actually this is a very healthy development. Now I would like to give you information about rank-wise percentage of women police in India as on 1st January 2017. In constable rank, percentage against total number is 71.75%. Head constable rank, it is 17.63%. Assistant sub-inspector rank, it is 2.74. Sub-inspector 5.34%. Inspector 1.69. ASP, DYSP, Assistant Commissioner 0.46%. Additional SP, Deputy Commissioner 0.13%. AIGP, SSP, SP or Commissioner 0.20%, DIG 0.02%, IGP 0.03%, additional DG 0.01%, DGP, Special DG, ADGP, it is only 0.01%. So we can clearly say that as the position or rank increases, the percentage has declined rigorously. So we have to give opportunities to serve women in police force at higher ranks also. Now I would like to give information about state-wise percentage of women police in India and percentage of women reservation. In Andhra Pradesh, percentage of women police as on 1st January 2016 was 4.24%, and in January 2017 it was 4.17%, and percentage of women reservation was 33.33%. And when we come to the case of Karnataka, in 2017, percentage of women in police force was 5.38%, and percentage of reservation for women in 2017 was 20%. And as I have told earlier, now it has increased to 25%, and we can see that the percentage and the reservation rate varies from state to state. In this slide, I have given information about the statistics in data relating to police force in different states and also in union territories, but it is not satisfactory. Government jobs in bank. Banks have always been a major factor in the development of the nation, but in today's globalized world, banks have become more crucial. If we see banking as a career, bank jobs are one of the best government job areas for female. Bank PO, bank clerk jobs, etc. are considered to be challenging, but they provide numerous growth opportunities too. Due to many types of opportunities available at banks, female candidates can apply for the jobs which find interesting and suitable to their personality. For bank PO post, minimum educational qualification is graduation, while for bank clerical post, 10+2 pass candidates can apply. On the right side, you can see a figure. There I have given the examination pattern of bank PO exam and as well as clerical exam. And for bank PO examination, there will be 75 questions on reasoning ability and 50 questions on numerical or quantitative aptitude, 50 questions on English language, 50 questions on general aptitude. And in bank clerical exam, there will be 50 questions on reasoning ability, 50 questions on numerical quantitative aptitude, 40 on English language, 20 on general knowledge, and 40 marks, 40 questions on clerical aptitude. So after this, you have to write descriptive test, and there will be 5 questions carrying 100 marks in PO examination, and in clerical exam also you have to attempt 5 descriptive questions, and the total marks for this paper will be 100 marks. And finally, the recruitment will be made on the basis of your interview, and the interview marks is 100 for both bank probationary officer and also for clerical post. If you have good command over general knowledge, mathematics, reasoning, then with simple preparation, you can get the bank jobs and make your future secure. Bank PO is the minimum entry level to reach the highest level in the banking system, where you can become CEO, president, and managing director with a gradual promotion. And you have many examples before you, like Mrs. Arundhati. Government jobs in teaching. Teaching jobs in government schools, colleges, and universities are in huge demand these days owing to the good salaries, job security, job satisfaction, etc. Every year, lakhs of candidates appear for various government teaching exams with an aim to get recruited as teacher or professor in a reputed government school, college, or university. There are two types of exams conducted to determine the eligibility of candidates for government teaching jobs in India. They are National Eligibility Test or State Eligibility Test for degree colleges and universities, and Teacher Eligibility Test, that is TET, from class 1 to class 12. NET for Assistant Professorship and JRF. NET is an exam conducted at national level to determine the eligibility of candidates for the post of Assistant Professor and or the award of Junior Research Fellowship, that is JRF. Candidates qualifying the NET exam get eligible to apply for a government job in Indian universities or colleges as assistant professors. The candidates qualifying NET exam or JRF get eligible to pursue research in their chosen subject in Indian universities and colleges set for recruitment as assistant professor. The state eligibility tests are similar to NET examination. The only difference being these exams are conducted at state level. This means that candidates qualifying the SET exam get eligible to apply for the post of assistant professor or pursue research in the colleges and universities of that particular Indian state. TET for recruitment as school teachers in classes 1 to 12th. Teacher eligibility test TET is conducted at national or state level to determine the eligibility of candidates for the post of teacher in central or state schools from classes 1 to 8th. Some tests also determine the eligibility of candidates for classes 9 to 12. Healthcare and medicine. Women are born caregivers. Evolution has made women like that. For more than a century, women are highly demanded in some of the job roles in healthcare, and there are some jobs which are only meant for women. For example, in jobs like those of staff nurses and nursing assistants, women have more opportunities. Besides nursing, the healthcare sector offers some of the best jobs for women. You have opted for You can opt for various options depending upon your educational qualifications. Some of the best careers for women in this field are physicians, consultant physicians, nursing, medical laboratory technology, medical imaging technology, emergency and critical care technology, pharmacy, etc. And in each district, in each taluk, and even at villages, now we have government dispensaries and hospitals. So there are ample of opportunities for women to serve in the healthcare sector and medical sector. One of the typically female jobs in this field is that of the midwives and general nurses. Career as an air hostess. This is not only a glamorous but also a promising career option that has popular among Indian women. If you love talking to others and have good communication skills along with a charming personality, this profession is made for you. Being an air hostess, you will be able to visit different places and countries, enjoy living in hotels and experience the joy of talking of new people every single day. Nevertheless, if you are looking forward to work in this profession, be ready to work hard with 100% commitment, dedication and courage, eligibility and personality trait. There are several institutes in India that offer diploma and short-term courses and training to candidates. For air hostess training, air service carriers like Air India recruit young girls between the age of 19 to 25 with a minimum height of 157.5 centimeter. In the most of the institutes, the basic educational qualification needed is 12th pass. However, some institutes ask for graduation degrees as well. Smart and confident girls with pleasing and polite personality make it to the level in the profession of air hostess. Along with these traits, the blend of excellent communication skills and good sense of humor is also demanded in this profession. Expertise in at least one foreign language is preferred in this profession. However, it is not mandatory. Educational institutions which train career air hostess. There are many institutions that impart training and degree course. A few renowned names are listed below and they are YMCA New Delhi, Skyline Educational Institute, House Caste Delhi, Franklin Institute of Air Hostess Training, New Delhi. Some other jobs, railway jobs. Indian Railways managed by the central government has a lot of opportunities for women. A job in Indian Railways not just come with good salary but amazing perks like residence, travel pass, economical healthcare access, retirement benefits and many more. Besides bank job, in railways too, transfer is accommodated depending on the situation. Indian Railways also grant up to 2 years of leave in continuation with maternity leave if applied for. Railway Recruitment Board brings in various positions in the railways that are a perfect fit for women. Jobs in SSC. Staff Selection Commission conducts a combined graduate level exam every year in order to fill various positions under the central government across income tax, CBI, custom, excise and more departments. The major perk about these jobs is the kind of stability at work they provide. Dear participants, I would like to inform you that along with the above mentioned job opportunities, there are many more in various government departments and also public run institutions, and there are ample of job opportunities in various state government departments also. I sincerely wish you good luck and I also request you to continuously read periodicals like Employment News, Udyoga Varte, etc. to get information about job vacancies in various Government of India and various state government departments. Good luck. Thank you.